Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Saurabh Civil Service Classes, and today we have start Indian Polity and part 1, the constitutional framework. From that, the first chapter, historical background, that the why we need constitution, how they come to being formed and come into being, and their events, who is the responsible for making our constitution. So let's start the background, historical background of the making of constitution. The British came to India in 600 AD as trader in the form of East India Company for an established company in India, which had the exclusive right of trading in India under a charter granted by the Queen Elizabeth I. In 1765, the company, which till now had purely trading function, obtained the Diwani, that is the right of revenue and civil justice of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. This started its career as a territorial power, and in 1958, in wake of Sepoy Mutiny, the British assumed direct responsibility of governance of India, and this rule continued until India was granted independence on 15 August 1947. With independence came the need of constitution. When we get freedom from the British rule, we need constitution for uh, running our country, and as suggested by Aman Roy, he was the pioneer of communist movement in India, and he suggested the need of constitution in 1934. Constitution Assembly was formed for Constitution in 1946, and on 26 January 1950 they came into being. As we celebrated this day as a Republic Day, the British, however, various features of Indian constitution and polity have their roots in British rule, and the there are certain events in the British rule that laid down the legal framework for the organization and functioning of government and administration in British India, and these events have greatly influenced our constitution and polity. The establishment of the East India Company in 600 and its transformation into a ruling body from a trading one in 1765 had little immediate impact on Indian polity and governance, but the period between 1773 and 1858 under the company rule, and then under the British Crown till 1947 witnessed a overplus of constitutional and administrative change, and the nature and objective of this change were to serve the British imperial ideology, but unintentionally they introduced element of the modern state into India's political and administrative system, and they are explained here in a chronological order. The first is the first company rule from 1773 to 1858, and inside this company rule, the first act is the Regulating Act of 1773. This act is of great constitutional importance as it was the first step taken by British government to control affairs of East India Company. And second is it recognized for the first time the political administrative function of the company, the first time political administrative function of the company. And the it laid the foundation of central administration in India, that the Regulating Act of 1773 is the laid the foundation of the central administration in India. The 1773 Regulating Act brought about the British government's involvement in Indian affairs in the effort to control and regulate the functioning of the East India Company, and it recognized that the company's role in India extended beyond trade to administrative and political fields, and introduce the elements of centralized administration. Now look at the features of this act. Uh, First feature is it designates the Governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal, and create an executive council of 4 members to assist him. And the first such Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. That this act replaced the Governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal, and create a 4 member for executing him. And the first Governor General was the Lord Warren Hastings. Second is it made the governors of Madras and Bombay Presidency subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal, unlike earlier when 3 presidencies were independent of one another. And third is it provided for the establishment of the Supreme Court at Calcutta in 1774. That this act established the first Supreme Court at Calcutta in 1774, comprising 1 Chief Justice and 3 judges. And third is it prohibited the servants of the company from engaging in any private trade or accepting present or bribes from the native. And last is it strengthened the control of British government over the company by requiring the court of directors, governing body of the company, to report on its revenue, civil and military affairs in India. The directors of the company were required to submit all correspondence regarding revenue affairs and civil and military administration to the government. Thus, for the first time, the British cabinet was given to right to exercise control over Indian affairs. In Bengal, the administration was to be carried out by Governor General and a council consisting of 4 members representing civil and military government. They were required to function according to majority rule, and Warren Hastings and 4 others were named in the act. Later ones were to by appointed by the company. The jurisdiction of the Supreme Court was defined within Kolkata. It was the administer the personal law of the defendant, that the servant of the government were immune if they did anything while discharging their duty. Social and religious uses of the subject Social and religious uses of the subject were to be honored, so the whole scheme was based on check and balance. So that's all about the regulating act. In next video we have come with the next company rule is the Pitt's India Act of 1784. Thank you very much. Have a good day.